Hello and welcome back. My name is Joseph and I'm going to be your instructor in this course. So this is the second video I'm making about Node.js Essentials with Express. In the first videos, I showed you guys how you can build a server with Express. So this is what we did for the server setups. We just had to import Express, then we bring in the routes and we listen to this port. So this is what we did, but if you check our controller, we don't have so much here. So this is what we are going to do today. We are going to see how we can bring in more functionality to this small Express server. What I've prepared for you guys is how we can use a database like MongoDB to interact with our Express server. So here we have um, MongoDB server. How you can download it is laid out here very clearly. And if you're on your, you can choose here your platform, that is your OS. For me, it's Windows, so you see here by default it selects to the uh, the operating system that you are working on. So what you'll just do is just install down, click this download button, and everything will work as it's supposed to. Then after you have installed MongoDB Community Edition, then you'll go ahead and use Mongoose. But guys, for me, I'll not click this download button because I have MongoDB already set up in my computer. So for you, if you don't have it, you can just go ahead and follow the steps. So we'll go ahead and also use Mongoose, which will be which will be used to model our queries for MongoDB. So we'll be writing syntax like this. This is not MongoDB, but when it is executed, it compiles to objects that can be used for MongoDB database. So yeah, Mongoose is what we are going to use in this project. So we can search Mongoose npm. We see how we can use Mongoose, Mongoose npm. So let's go ahead and install the latest version of Mongoose. So you can just do npm I Mongoose inside your project. So what I'll do, I'll have, oops, what happened here? Okay. Let me see how I can remove this. I'll just close and open this again. Okay. Okay, so I'll just copy in the command npm I mongoose. Then we'll wait for this to install. Then we'll bring in Mongoose inside our server file, server entry file. Here is where now we'll bring in our Mongoose ODM. So I'll do import Mongoose from Mongoose. So after installing here inside the terminal, let's go ahead and run our server. So to do that, we use the command npm run dev. You remember this command is used to spin up nodemon. So we expect no errors here. So let's go ahead, on top of our API router, we'll go ahead and set up the database connection for MongoDB. So what we'll do, I'll have, actually we'll just do mongoose.connect like this, what they provided, then like that. Or to make this file even much cleaner, what I'll create another folder inside this server folder. Okay, so inside I'll create another folder called config. Remember, it's not a file. So config, then inside I'll create a file called db.js. Then I'll do a function, so I can say export default function connect db, like so. Then here I'll have a try catch. I'll just log the error like we have done for the others. Export default, this will be an async function, so I'll mark this function as async, like so. Then I'll make sure to bring Mongoose because this file will be used to connect to the MongoDB using Mongoose. So make sure to bring in Mongoose, and Mongoose will do all the heavy lifting that is needed to connect to MongoDB. Use await and say mongodb.connect, like that. Then you can type this MongoDB. Then you can do 127.0.0.1 slash, then just do let's say e-commerce. Yeah, let's do e-commerce, and that's all we need. Then after we connect, we can just do console.log database connected. Now this will run our connection to MongoDB. The remaining piece is to bring in this function into the server entry file. So what I'll do, I'll just call, I'll do import db connection from, and do db connection here. db connection from, remember it's coming from /config/db.js, like so. So now here on top we can do db connection, like so. Then make sure to call this function like that. So we see we have an error because we cannot use import. What we what we mistakenly did is we forgot to have MJS here for our extension. So let's check this out. We see if it works. So we see database connected. That means MongoDB was connected successfully. So that is how you can connect to MongoDB. Again, now is actually we'll remove this import. We don't need it. So we can now start working with our controller. So for this one, what I'll do, we'll start with a product. Okay, so let's see how we can create a product using MongoDB by having Mongoose lay out everything for us. Okay, so we'll say import Mongoose from Mongoose yeah, so far we need that. Then actually the first thing that we need is we should be able to create these models for the product. That's the first thing you do. You create the models for the product. So let's create the models for the product, or the tables, you might say, how the structure of the product, how it will look. So create a folder called model, and inside you create a file called product.model.js. Actually, I keep forgetting that it should be MJS, not JS. So here is now where we bring in Mongoose to structure our model. So we create a schema out of this. We can say product schema is equals to new mongoose dot schema. Make sure to have the S as uppercase. Then here we can have the name of the product, the type, set it to true. We need the price of the product. Again, we have the type, we have required, have it to be true. We need out of stock. Can have the type to be a boolean value, and by default we'll have it as false for now, and we'll have name the price out of stock. I think we can have this for now as we think of something else that we can have for our model. Again, we export this product schema. So to export, you just do mongoose.model, then you pass in the name here. Let's give it, let's assign it a name like product. Then we bring in the product schema as our product here. Okay, so that is all we need for the product. Remember, we also have the users. If you check our controller, we have this folder called users, so we must go ahead and also do create a file that will contain our user. Mark this as MGS. Then it will be the same file as this one. The only thing that we'll need to change is the schema model. So here we'll just do fh, then I'll find product, and I'll replace that with user. User, again, do it like that. So we can have this as more. Have this as small, like so. This one has small. Great. Now for the user, we need we can have the email for the user. We can have type will be, can have it as string. We can have the password. Let's say these users have password, or you want an authentication system. It's good that you have a password. So we can have a password as a string. Okay, so for this one, I'll only have these three, and we can have maybe phone. Say we want phone, the phone details of this user. We don't have to have it as a number. We'll just have it as a string. We can set this to be not required, so we can just remove it. By default, it will be required false. Okay, so this is all we need for the user schema. Okay, let's go ahead and see how we can create now the controllers that will be used to handle the logic for the user and also for the product. So here what I'll do, I'll bring in the model into our controllers. So let's say we want product model. So I'll do product model, which will import it from where the file is. Now the files is in a model, so we bring the product model, so we can go ahead now and start creating. So the first thing I want to do is to get the details for the specific product that the user wants to create. So remember, in our models we have these fields, so we should find a way to get this, what the user passed into these fields from a JSON format. Okay, so remember we also used postman, so we'll use postman we see how we can emulate the client by uh, passing JSON data, passing JSON data. Okay, so let's see. So I'll do const from we do rec.body. We'll need bg const we need name, we need the price, we need out of stock. Okay, out of stock. Oops, if I can type out of stock like that. So now again, this is how we get the fields from the request body, which was passed as JSON from the client, right? So the next thing that we do is now create the product. So I'll create a product like product is equals to new product model, then have the name to be the name, have the price to be the price, out of stock to be out of stock, like so. So now we have modeled our data here with what you're getting from the client. Now we can go ahead and create this product. So to do that, we can just use await product.save, and this will save the data for us. When we use save, we get the data back, so we can take advantage and store this product, or we can say new product is equals to await, then we can return it as JSON. So we can do response.json request. We can send a status first, response.status of 201, which means created, and we can attach JSON to its new product, or we can have a message, yeah, product created, and we can have the product that was created. So we can do product, new product, great. So that is how we create an object with Mongoose. Okay. So now now MongoDB will take this data with the query that was generated with the Mongoose. Okay. So let's see how we can delete also a product. I want to add another function here which will be used to get one single product. Maybe from the client we can request a single product with its ID, because you'll find that every product that is created will be assigned an ID by MongoDB. Also, we'll see that, but for now, let's just focus on how we can get a single product. So we can say export const get product by ID is equals to a try catch console.log. I'll log the error like so. Then I should find a way to get this ID, so we can receive the ID from params. So we can do request params, which will give us the ID. So we destructure from params here with this object, so we're getting ID, so we can receive the ID here. Then we'll need to find a way now how we can use Mongoose to get the product with a given ID from MongoDB. So for that, we can say product with ID will be equal to await remember to mark this function as an async whenever you use an await there. So we can say await, then we can say product model dot find by id, find by id, like so. So let's look at this. Find by id, it takes in the, let's check what it takes. It takes the id, yeah, the id like this. So now we can response.status. Now we can return this product to the client like so. You can say JSON message. Yeah, we can have this message product found, product with ID. This product now will be returned to the client. I also want to add another function which will be used now to get all the products. So for that, we can do the same. We can say export const get all products res. As always, have my try catch block here, log the error, then to get all the products, we use product model dot find method. We use dot find method to access all the products inside the database. So we can do that, product model dot find. Then again, we can return this. I can just say return response dot status 200.json message all products. Then you can have the products as the all products. So this will give us all the products that we requested from the product model. So that is how we can use .find method to access all the products. Again, let's see how we can use how we can delete a product from the database. So to delete a product, we need to know the ID of that product. So we'll do some repetition here. We just say request of params, and out of params with the structure, we get the ID. Great. So now what we'll do here, we'll just mark this function as async. So we did that. We can say await product model dot find by ID and delete, like so. So here, if we check create find by ID, filtering by the given underscore ID, does it return? Okay, so let's see, we'll see if it returns the product that was removed. So for now, we can just have the result inside a variable deleted product. We can have this stored. Then I can just return response dot status 200, which means successful. Touch JSON object here, then say product deleted, and we return the deleted product. For update will be a bit tricky, but let's see how we can handle this. Again, we need to know the product ID, so we can do that. Then we need to see how we can use Mongoose to update the product. So for this one, we do const updated product dart is equals to await product model dot find by id and update. So the first thing that we do is pass the id, so we can do id here. Then we need to set the fields with the given data that was passed from our JSON. So for this one, we just set the fields with whatever that was passed inside the body of the request, like that. Now we also have to pass in new, which this tells MongoDB to return the product to return the product that was updated. So we are setting new to true. That means it will give us the new updated product. Okay. After this happens, we want to return the updated product. So we can just copy this response and I'll have it here. Then I'll say return response dot status yes to a 1. And you can say updated product updated. Then I'll have this as updated product updated. Remember it was updated product, so it should be updated product as the name of our variable right here. Okay, so this should work. Let's do the testing now. If you check here, we have added new functions. Let me close others. We have added new function like get product by ID, get all the products. So we need to update our product route files. So for this one, I will split this to the right. Then here, I will replace with the product routes here. So now I'll add the new files. So I'll say get all products. We also need, as that one is, as we are doing that, let me start Postman. Oops, where can I find it? Postman. Yeah, I'll start this. Okay, so get all products. We also need get product by ID. So we can do router. Oops, router.route get product like this. So this is how you pass your routes, your parameters for the routes. You have a full colon, then the identifier, the identity for that ID. So for this one is ID. We also need the one which will be used to delete. So we can just do /remove /id. Then this one, remember, we should change the request method to delete. Then we'll have delete product, which is the name of the function. Also need to update, so that's something I should do. Update. Then also make sure to change the request method to be a put. Then I want to update product like that. So make sure our server file is running correctly. Get all product is not defined is among the errors I'm getting. So you can just import get all products from product index.mjs file. We see get product by ID. Again, they're coming from the same file, so we can just bring in here. So now our server is running correctly. That means we don't have any errors. So we can go to Postman and start now creating. So right now we need JSON. So for JSON, you make sure to click body here. Pass your route here, your full route. Also make sure to have the request method. Inside the body, click body, have it as raw, construct this as JSON objects. So for the product to be created, we needed 3 fields. We needed one was name. We need a price. Remember it was a number. We need also out of stock. We'll say false. But we know by default it's false, so you can just remove this. Then send this request. We are not getting any response. Let's check what happened. Name request of name of request.body as it is undefined. So our Express server does not know that we are expecting JSON. So we need to tell it to expect JSON from the client. So to do that, inside our server file, add this line app.use express.json. So this is like a way to tell Express that whatever will be coming from the client will be in a JSON format. So now when I click send here, we should see, oops, we're getting another error. Request name of request.body. Did we pass the name? We passed the name. So start the server again. Run this again. Check the route /create product, name price request.body. Okay, what if let's log request.body. We see if you're getting any data from the client. Actually, I've seen the mistake. You don't have to do this. This one should be on top of this because this one should execute. We should tell Express before, not after. Okay, we should tell Express before that we are going to use JSON, not after after we have executed our router. Okay, so make sure to do this, have this on top. So now let's run this. So now we see that we are creating a product like so. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the product by ID. So for this one, to get the product by ID, we just do /ID. So make sure this, this is a get request method. Okay, so let's see. You can copy the underscore ID, copy the ID or this one, change the request method to be a get request method, remove create and have your ID like so. So now when I click send, we should get the product. So we see product found. So that means it's working as expected. So now let's switch to another. Get product ID is working. What about getting all the product? Getting all the product is the same route like this, but now we'll just remove the ID because we don't need it. If we check our router file, we just have a slash. Okay, so now when I send this, we should get all the product. So all the products is just one product that we have currently. So that means it's working correctly. let's test for updating the product. So updating the product is a put. I can switch back to that. Then I want to update, maybe I can say update t-shirt updated. Okay, so let's send this request. We test to see if it is working. So we see that we are getting an error. This is a result of not well constructed route. So what I'll do here, I'll have update, because this is a mistake I made on my side. Because if you check here, we are having /update. Okay, so let's try this again. We see if it works. So we see the shirt was updated. If I switch to getting all the products, we see that it was really updated inside our database. Okay, so that means the update is working. So what else do we need to do before we remove? I think all the routes are working for now, but we have not tested for removing. Okay, so let's do that. Let's test for removing. Oops. So /product, copy this ID, then do /delete, then make sure to have another slash there, then have this request method to be delete. Make sure we have delete request method here. Great. So now if we remove, what happens? We see we cannot delete because we did something wrong. So let's see what we did here. It is not /delete, it is /remove. So let's remove these routes for deleting. We keep this one. Okay, we keep this one that says remove. Great. So now let's have this as remove, not delete. Okay, so when I test this, what happens? We are deleting the products. What about, let's check now if we have existing products inside our database, because on my side, I'm sure that I've deleted all the products. So now when I send this request, we are getting a product which is an empty array list. So that means everything inside the product is working, and we have a full API for CRUD operations on the products model. We can use the same thing for users. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy everything inside the product controller. So just copy everything inside the product controller and replace it here, and replace everything inside the user controller. So let me expand this. So for this one, we'll just say, instead of create product, it will be create user. Instead of get product by ID, actually what I'll do, I'll find and replace product with user. Replace all. Great. So let's see user model. User model. So you're importing user model here. New user model. Okay, let's clean this. Instead of user model, fh. For you, you can just type it out. Okay, if you find it confusing, you can just type it out. But since the product controller and the user controller, they are almost the same, there's no need. So for me, I'll just do it the easy way. So we see get user by ID, there. Okay, so now we have const user. What do we need for the user? We need the name. Nope. User.model.js. User model. What do we need? We need what? We need For the user model, we need the name, email, password, and phone. Name, email, password, and phone. So this is name, email, password, phone, phone. So I have this in here, phone, phone, oops, password. Make sure this is double S. So we are done with that. New user, await user.save, great, user created. Get user by ID. Actually, this was a bad decision. I could have just typed everything. User with ID. I'll just have this in here. Yeah. User found. Have this as lowercase. Get all users. User model. All users. Okay, this one looks fine to me. Delete user model. Great. This looks fine to me. User model. This looks okay. Great. So let's do the testing now for the users. Okay. Again, I'll copy everything inside products and replace everything inside users. Let's see. So for create, replace product with f, create h, user, like so. Great. Now let's look at our server. We see where we don't have errors so far. Okay, this looks okay. Let's now try and create users. Okay, so API / user / create, it will be a post, name, email, password. We had the last one. What was the last one? Phone. Let's have phone. So for the name, I'll just have John at Gmail. John. For the email, I'll have the email as John at gmail.com. Password, I'll have it as 12356. Phone, I'll have the phone as just a random number. Okay, let me try and create the user. The request is taking so long. Let's see what we did wrong for this one. Password is required, but we gave the password. Let's check the spelling of password. How did we construct it inside the user model? We had uppercase P, it should be lowercase p, so that was the problem. Now let's run the request again. Great. So we see the user was created. Now let's try and update the user. So we can say update user, copy the ID. You don't have to do slash user, just replace slash user with slash the ID. Also make sure to change the request method. It's a put request method. Now we can say John updated. Aha, we see the user was updated. Great. Now let's see if we can get all the users. Slash API slash users, that is the route we are hitting. So now if I do, we are getting all the users here. Can we find the user by the ID? Yes. So let's see if we can do that. Slash user slash ID, it's a get request method. So if I send this, we are getting the user by its ID. Okay. So the last one is to check if we can remove a user. So let's do that. So remember it was slash user slash remove. Okay. Remove, then the ID of that user, like so. Cannot, actually it should be delete, forgot that. Send this request. We see users deleted, user deleted. Now if I run the route that should give me all the users, what should we get? An empty array list. So my users API and my products API CRUD functionalities, they are working perfectly. So let's see how models are created inside Mongoose, inside MongoDB. Yeah, so have this as a post. Let me switch to the API that is used to add to create this one. So I'll create this again, user created. So if you had installed Robo3T and check for that model, which you gave a name, we gave this one for, if you check here, let's go to config db.mjs, you give your model a name of e-commerce. So let me check for that model, e-commerce. Let me look for it. Actually, I'll refresh this. Yeah, this one is the model. So we see we have two collections, we have products. So if I check my product collection, you always know. Okay, so let me check my product collection. What is happening? Okay, I think we'll have to wait for this. What is happening here? Let me do a reload. Okay, so if I run this command is used now for MongoDB to get the collection. So if I run it, we see that we don't have any products because we don't have any. But how about we run the users? So let's wait for this. Okay, so if I run this command, we see that we get the collection for users. So let's wait. So we get the collection with all the users. So we see so far we have one user with the name John, and this is the email. Yeah. So if we check the JSON format for this document, this is how data is stored uh, in MongoDB. It's stored in using a JSON format. Okay. Yeah. So guys, that marks the end of this video. If you have any comments, you can just write them below. And thank you for sticking around, and see you in the next one. Bye.